In the complex and emotional world of the young and the restless, Sharon Newman is once again confronted by the ghosts of her past. Although Cameron Kirsten has long since disappeared from her life, his haunting remains. Cameron's presence is no longer real, but his hallucinations are increasingly haunting and invading Sharon's life. He is not just an image in her mind, but a dangerous force, driving Sharon into uncontrollable rage. Sharon has always been a strong woman who has overcome many events in her life, but this time, she is faced with an invisible enemy, the fear and anger that are slowly eating her away from her. Cameron, in her hallucinations, constantly urges Sharon to accept her anger and avenge Faith Newman's car accident. Although Sharon knows that this is just an illusion, she cannot stop these emotions from taking over her mind. Nick Newman, who has always been by Sharon's side, cannot help but worry as she sinks deeper and deeper into rage and fear. He feels helpless to help her escape this spiral of obsession. Mariah Copeland, Sharon's daughter, has also noticed a worrying change in her mother's behavior and may have to tell Nick about what she has observed. However, revealing this to Nick may lead to unpredictable consequences, as Nick decides to share his concerns with Phyllis Summers, who has a complicated relationship with Sharon. Lucy and the war between Heather and Daniel. Sharon struggles with her own inner demons. Lucy is faced with a difficult reality. After a serious incident where she is caught drinking and sneaking out, Lucy must face the inevitable consequences. Heather and Daniel, her parents, cannot agree on how to handle the situation, which makes the situation more tense. Heather, as a strict mother, wants Lucy to understand the seriousness of her actions. She believes that Lucy needs to take responsibility for her mistakes and learn to face the consequences. Meanwhile, Daniel, as a father, has a different perspective. He does not want Lucy to be under too much pressure and believes that punishing her too harshly will only hurt their daughter more. This situation not only tests Heather and Daniel's parenting abilities, but also puts a strain on their relationship. They both want the best for Lucy, but their different approaches cause them to struggle with themselves as well as each other. In the end, Lucy has to suffer the consequences of her actions, but at the same time, she also has to witness the increasing tension between her parents. Kyle's confession and the Abbott family conspiracy. At the Abbott household, Kyle Abbott feels pressure from many sides as he faces difficult decisions. He confesses to Claire Grace Newman that they need to talk, a conversation that Kyle knows will not be easy. Claire, who has always believed in and supported Kyle, may now be faced with a difficult truth. Kyle is pressured by Victor Newman to banish Claire from his life, a request he knows will cause much suffering. However, Kyle does not want to hurt Claire and is uncertain whether he can comply with Victor's request. This internal struggle puts Kyle in a tense situation, as he must weigh his loyalty to Victor against his feelings for Claire. Meanwhile, Victor continues to assert his power by calling Nate Hastings to threaten him, taking the power struggle to a new level. Lily Winters, who is always smart and decisive, warns Billy Abbott, who is caught up in this fight without even realizing it. Billy then calls his legal team to prepare for possible legal challenges. Elsewhere, Adam Newman blames Chelsea Lawson for the troubles they are facing. Chelsea, feeling pressure from both sides, tries to apologize to Sally Spectra, but her apology only complicates the situation. Meanwhile, Chance Chancellor begins to doubt his decision to join Abbott Chancellor, a doubt that could lead to major changes in the future. Nikki Newman, with her remarkable ability to gather information, gives Victor a fascinating piece of information about Billy that could be key to Victor continuing to manipulate events in his favor. Meanwhile, Lily Winters drops a bombshell on Jack Abbott, leaving him with a whole new set of problems. As for Diane Jenkins, she's trying to get in touch with Kyle, worried that her actions will have irreversible consequences. The storm of emotions and secrets continues to shake the lives of the characters on The Young and the Restless. Their lives are filled with constant conflicts and challenges, keeping viewers glued to the screen. Faced with crisis, Lucy is going through a mental crisis, facing serious consequences after being caught drinking and sneaking out. Daniel and Heather, her parents, are in a dilemma when deciding on the appropriate punishment for her. The difference in perspective between Daniel, who tends to be more lenient, and Heather, who pursues strictness, only deepens the conflict within the family. This adds to the burden on Lucy's shoulders, as she faces internal conflicts and family pressure. Lucy Romalotti is going through a difficult teenage phase, and each of her rebellious actions test the patience of her parents, Daniel and Heather. Her arrest for drinking and sneaking out is not just a normal juvenile act, but also a wake-up call for Daniel and Heather to agree on their approach to parenting. Heather, who is strict and pragmatic by nature, believes that a harsh lesson is needed to set boundaries for Lucy. Daniel, on the other hand, tends to take a softer approach, hoping that understanding and support will help her daughter learn from her mistakes. Their differences in approach not only create a wall in their marriage, but also make Lucy feel trapped between two parents she loves. Hidden grudge. Sharon Newman is in the midst of another psychological battle. She is constantly haunted by the image of Cameron Kirsten, who not only appears in her hallucinations but also urges her to take revenge. Although Sharon knows that revenge is unnecessary, as both her daughters are fine, Cameron continues to pressure her. This creates a fierce internal struggle for Sharon, as she tries to stay sane against Cameron's provocations. Sharon Newman, meanwhile, is battling the pain of her past. A shadow from her past, Cameron Kirsten, haunts her and urges her to take revenge. Although Sharon knows that revenge will never bring her any good, Cameron's ghost makes her uneasy. This obsession not only disrupts Sharon's personal life but also affects her relationships with her loved ones, especially her daughter, Lily, who feels guilty and fearful of her mother's change. Meanwhile, Claire Grace Newman faces a shocking truth when Kyle Abbott confesses to a secret request that Victor Newman has made. Kyle, seemingly faced with a difficult choice between his feelings for Claire and his loyalty to Victor, puts a strain on their relationship. Claire, feeling betrayed but still in love with Kyle, must find a way to deal with this new information without damaging her love. Tested relationships. Nick Newman becomes increasingly concerned about Sharon's condition and seeks out Phyllis to confide in. Their conversation opens up a deeper connection, demonstrating mutual understanding and support during difficult times. This also marks a turning point in their relationship, as Nick seeks comfort and advice from an old friend. Power struggles. Victor Newman, never short of schemes and tricks, continues to manipulate events from behind the scenes. His call to Nate and secret meeting with Lily Winters indicate that Victor is preparing a major deal that could change the power dynamics in Genoa City. Victor's every move is carefully calculated, ensuring that he and the Newman family will always be in a position of dominance. Drama, mystery, and inner struggles continue to dominate The Young and the Restless, as each character faces their own challenges and choices. Stories of love, power, and betrayal not only enrich the flow of the story but also deeply define each character's personality and motivations. Amidst the intrigue and secrecy, life in Genoa City is never boring. Victor Newman, a name that cannot be ignored when it comes to power and influence in Genoa City, is once again at the center of a tense battle of wits. His call to Nate and his unexpected meeting with Lily point to a new plot that Victor is secretly preparing. His goal may involve strengthening Newman Enterprises' position or even changing the power dynamics in the city. Victor's every move will not only affect business but also threaten the stability of many families in the city. Subscribe to Yonder channel for latest news.